Welcome to the Uplift, where we are uplifting our lives, uplifting each other, and uplifting our communities together. Thank you for joining myself, Sai Herrera, and Tessa Savala here, two women, two attorneys, doing it our way, and inviting you here each week to share in on the stories, advice, and life lessons we've picked up along our journeys that keep us uplifted, and that will hopefully do the very same thing for you. Now buckle in and let's get ready to be uplifted.
Hej, det här är Tessa och jag är med Sai som alltid. Hi, this is Tessa and I am joined by the ray of sunshine, giver of hope, lover of life, Sai.
Hello. Hi, Tessa. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited for another talk and just ready to be uplifted. I'm feeling the energy already. So thank you for leading us into this conversation.
I am very excited to talk about this. This is something that you had mentioned to me, and I think it's, I'm going to say, pervasive in our society, in that everything, it always has to be like more and extreme, and let's go harder, and you will work through your fears, and if you're not afraid, you're not doing it right. But in the more elegant way, as you put it to me, why are we interpreting pain as growth? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's if you're working out at the gym, it has to like burn, and you have to be in pain when you're done with it. And if you're not falling down, you haven't done enough. Or if you're not waking up at 5 a.m. because that's when quote unquote all the CEOs wake up, you're not performing at your highest peak. Or if you're not working 120 hours a week, you're not working enough.
And I feel
like that's the message we keep getting.
Yeah. Like, where does that even come from? Like, it's like, where did the word should come from? Like, I should be doing more. I should be working more. I should be more productive. Why? Where'd you get that from? Like, that's
right?
my first thought.
Like, my favorite expression, who made up that rule? And literally. I know it wasn't me, and I had no input.
And my favorite expression from our last talk is, and we must question the source.
Yes, always.
Always and forever. Well, I wonder what comes to mind for you when you think about, this culture of, it's something like, hustle culture is there, right? But it's also this idea of like a puritanical punishment type of mindset where like you have to be suffering or you're not good. I think that's what it comes down to, right? Like, what comes to mind for you?
Exactly that. And it's like even the small things, right? Like someone who says they can't have a piece of cheese because they haven't earned it yet.
Or the dessert. Like, no.
Yeah. And I don't understand I intellectually understand that was built into the United States from the Puritans. And I intellectually understand that there were industrialists who put that upon their workers. Right? Like, you will eat this porridge as opposed to actual food, or you shall not have sex while you're working not during work, obviously, but, not during the working week. There should be no sex because you should maintain all your energy just for your
or drinking or using any substances because that would possibly impact the profits of the capitalist machine, right? Like that's all that's about. And also interestingly thinking about like how we also make so many things illegal in that vein, and where that comes from, right? Because it's not just a translation of like internally what we've internalized as what is good or bad or what we should be doing, but they're literal laws, like you can and cannot do based on these values as well, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about one, and we're in Texas, and this has always perplexed me. So Texas allowed open containers in cars until like the early aughts, or late aughts, right? Somewhere near like 2010. And I'm just like, wow, didn't we know drinking and driving was bad before that? But the only reason it changed is because federal transportation dollars were going to be withheld.
Interesting. And so do you think that has something to do with like in Texas, our cultural mindset in regards, because I feel like Texas is kind of special, like as all Texans do, right? But
Right. And it's big and vast and diverse, and like
yeah,
what works in Houston doesn't
no
work
monolith.
in cut and shoot Texas, right?
Exactly, absolutely. But I also wonder, like, it's interesting because if that law hadn't existed up until that point, what does that say about our values? Like, are they different than the mainstream values in some way? I don't know. Like, the idea of the Lone Star State makes me think like we have this kind of, theology, this theory that we're different and we have this kind of independence. And, I have a whole lot to say about like who that's really for and who it's not. But, that's how Texas likes to represent its identity. But regardless, I think at the end of the
And
day,
and
go ahead.
Texans celebrate it, right? Like
Yeah, that's what I
celebrating
mean.
the Alamo, which I
Mhm.
didn't fully comprehend the idea that
Mhm.
Texans lost at the Alamo until like, I lived here for a few years, and I was like, wait, you're celebrating the fact that you guys lost?
You have to remember the Alamo because I don't know why. Actually.
You and me both.
So that doesn't happen again. I don't know. But yeah, I wonder too though, like, since that is the case, like the puritanical values get put into law, right?
Hmm.
What does that
No
say to?
alcohol sales on Sundays,
Yes.
all
Oh
that
my
kind of stuff.
gosh.
Yeah.
I used to live in Michigan and you could buy alcohol any day of the week and usually till 2 a.m, I want to say. Like when we
Yeah.
and this is the weird thing to me is like in Texas you think that Texas the reputation is all about like you're the Lone Star State, you're kind of rebellious,
Independent.
independent
Yeah.
type of place. And to me, that all translates to, I bet you there's less regulation, right? Like even the Republican, like, majority and all of that, it's like thinking they're usually saying like less regulation. And when I got here, I was like, I've never been so regulated ever. Like,
Ah,
I've never seen such a thing. Like, what? I'm
see,
so
you
confused.
missed a little asterisk that says, when we say so.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That is the key. Well, and so how does that translate to our lives, whether or not we are living in Texas? Like, how do puritanical values show up in your life? Like, where have you seen this? Where have you felt pressure or felt, conditioning or just seen it in other people or in yourself where it's internalized or, you can observe it out in the wild? Where do you see this showing up?
It showed up for me yesterday in a conversation where somebody was talking about like historical events, and because I was present, mentioned Vikings, and I chimed in. We have to remember that there were many, many female warriors that were
Yes.
Vikings that
Yes.
conquered and led and owned property. And the response was, ugh, we don't need to talk about gender. And I was just
Oh,
like,
wow.
when I thought of all the things afterwards that I should have said, and I didn't, because I was just like
The
sitting there
shock. Yeah.
shocked, right? Like,
Well, yeah, that's a
this is
tactic
completely
too.
valid. It is. And I was just thinking, how different the two cultures are. The
Mm-hmm.
puritanical United States is like, we can only
Mm.
think about the leadership in terms of the United States, which was my point of bringing up Viking warriors, because all people in the United States know are men in the military, men
Mm-hmm.
leaders. And as we know from academic research, when women are involved and women are in leadership positions, the decision making and the actions are vastly different in a
Mm-hmm.
better for the community sort of way.
Yeah, absolutely. And
But it
so,
was shocking to me, and you
yeah,
realize how ingrained it is that like gender is completely irrelevant.
right, right, right. And that's the opportunity for people to shut you down as well, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. Absolutely.
So how do you make sure to, in those moments, how do you make sure to like overcome, this puritanical value that's set into our culture, that's baked in? Like, I love
And
that
so,
you just went to history and facts, but like even that apparently is, not going
not
to,
enough.
not always going to land, right? I love that they heard it
It's
regardless of
not.
how they, regardless of how they tried to dismiss it, they still heard it. So
Oh yeah.
they probably learned something new.
Yeah, I think my point was made, but it wasn't to my satisfaction. I think what I would have done now, or let's just say when this happens again, because I believe it will, it'll be more that not only the historical information, but then the current modern view of how diverse leadership creates in business better profits, better decision making, and the same is true for government leaders, better decision making, better community standards for everybody. Whereas now I think we currently see a leadership style that likes to limit its people, right? Like take rights away. And I do not think that is the way a nation grows. And I do not think that is the responsibility of government to continue to limit things. It should be about helping and uplifting your community and your people. But that's why we're here talking about the reasons to uplift people, because it's not the norm and it's so ingrained in what 100%. We see on a day-to-day basis.
It is. And I think for me, that's where I see it even more. I feel like it's similar to our conversation on patriarchy, where it's like there's an external, delivery of patriarchy, and there's this very real internal perpetuation of patriarchy, right? Like when you've internalized so much of the messaging that you've gotten from the outside, sometimes it's harder to spot, right? Like you think you have freedom, you think that you're doing these things because you want to, but in fact, it's like, why are you denying yourself whatever it might be? You're denying yourself, another bite of dessert because what? You're feeling like you don't deserve it because you haven't worked out enough or you haven't eaten healthy enough or whatever it might be. Like just the whole idea, honestly, of the weight loss situation in this country is, I think, such a huge example of this, but there's so many ways.
It's a capitalist profit grab. Sorry.
100%. But most people don't see it that way, right? And what they're playing on is these puritanical values that are already seated, right?
Mm-hmm. And it makes me think how important, and this is something we've talked about before, who you surround yourself with, right? Like, I know that I am safe and can trust you to call me out when that internalized whatever ism or phobia comes out of me, because that's what I have been surrounded by in the United States. And sometimes that stuff lands and gets ingrained in you.
Yeah.
And I think you have to choose the right people around you.
Always. And also the reflection helps, right? In general.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest traps of this phenomenon for me anyways is the productivity piece, right? Like,
oh my God. Yes. Yes.
I want to go there because it's the one I think is the sneakiest. Like I have recognized in the past that like, okay, I am doing it to myself. Like the call is coming from inside, right? Like I am literally working myself, to death in ways, right? Like, you can literally like create so much stress and anxiety about doing enough. And if you really take a look at it, a lot of times it is self-imposed, and.
Oh, absolutely.
But like what I've told so many people is like, even when I do reflect on that and I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like I'm doing all of this self-imposition. I'm creating all these deadlines. I'm doing all of this to be more productive and to accomplish more. I'm like, but the problem is psychologically, I keep getting rewarded for it. That's the thing.
Externally rewarded?
Yeah, in every way. Like, I feel like, the more productive you are, I'm just speaking to the fact that like, this is the culture of the country, right? Like our culture is not about, let's make sure you're healthy. Let's make sure there's a work-life balance. Let's make sure that you're eating properly. Let's make sure that you're sleeping properly. Like, this is not the messaging I'm getting. Like,
absolutely not. Like,
the messaging I am getting is, work more and more. And like you said, wake up earlier, go to sleep later, like work through the night, work through your meals. get the fastest meal you can. Like all those things are not even, no one tells you out loud. Your boss is probably never going to come to you and say like, I expect you to like, not sleep and not eat and do all the things I want you to do and nothing else. Like no one's going to say it out loud, but how does it
Oh, they
get?
did.
You're like, actually.
No, I'm serious. Like, I think there was, okay, I don't want to attribute it to the person. There is a billionaire in this country who has made statements that the work regime in China is preferable because they can work 96 hours straight.
Damn.
Or 72 hours straight or multiple days
just
working.
Saying that, like, why would you say that publicly? Like what is your purpose?
Dehumanizing people.
Yes. That's what I mean. For profit.
Profit that doesn't go to the workers. It goes
Absolutely
to
not.
that one singular person.
Yeah, that workforce is ideal. I mean, they've been outsourcing so much, work to other countries because, first of all, they can pay them less, like just period. And, and they have less workers' rights, of course. They have less protections. Like there's so many issues with that, but it also demonstrates this idea that like, first of all, in this country, we're held as individuals, right? All the individual responsibility. If you're poor, it's your fault. If you're sick, it's your fault.
Yep.
If you're not progressing, it's your fault. If, like work harder, right? That's always the messaging. When we know that all the systems have been set up to, truly to keep rich people rich and poor people poor, like everything was set up in the vision of property owners, right, at the time. And so, now we are in a place where we've bought the messaging, right? Like it's not even a question anymore. It's there. And so how do we start to overcome it? Now, you talked about like the idea really of like, suffering or, like pain or just like, the like going through the drudgery as like, this is something I have to do. And I think that part of that comes from, for me, it comes from the idea, or not even the idea, but like the true experience of the fact that like when you grow, you can experience growing pains, right? And that like you had to be brave. You had to overcome a challenge. You had to take on something that was a little bit scary or whatever. And so I feel like the best lies are the ones that have a little kernel of truth in them. Right. So this lie tells us that we're not worthy unless we're in pain. And that's the lie.
And I think it's just, we have to change how we talk about it. I don't think we change the situation. We have to choose a way that is more positive to talk about it. It's interesting that you brought up, it's scary and it's hard. There is a line in the television show Heated Rivalry that is, yes, it's scary, but you're brave. Yes. And I think it's that focus on you're brave that is so important. And in times where we feel like we have a challenge.
Yeah, and if it's hard, if it's a challenge, if it's a hard challenge, like you can do hard things.
You can do hard things. You are capable. Yeah. You got this. You know this. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Is like, why, even with growth, like, why is it always like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be growing pains. Like, you don't want to do that. It's going to be a lot, I feel like there's this weird, push, to keep people small in that way.
Absolutely.
And it only benefits, people who want to subjugate you, actually. Right? Because
100%.
If you're small and you're not, if you don't know everything, you're easier to manipulate. You're easier to sell things to. Like, I think that is the part, like, even things like, this might sound crazy to some people, but like in my community, like, when I was growing up, I remember being like, I was one of few people who was like into reading, like, and I wasn't even into it big time. It was just like other people would be like, what are you doing? Like,
oh my gosh. Oh, reading's the best.
Reading is the best, and it's so magical. And now I tell people like, hey, guess what? All the secrets are in the books. Like, you can just go get the book and you can learn all the things that you want to know. But I just find it interesting that was like a thing that, it wasn't that it was like, even frowned upon. It was just looked as like something hard, something I don't want to do. It's annoying. I'd rather watch a movie or listen to music or something that I can consume, and it just speaks to the larger consumer type of environment that we've come to, right? Where it's like, it's a weird mix of like, is this actually something that is painful, or is it painful because somebody else painted it as so?
I think you nailed it, because I think words matter, and I think somebody else painted it as though. Plus, I think with a side note of, this is the culture we live in, and anything that's worthy is hard. And not even hard. Hard isn't even the right word, because, and people can do hard things. It's the one that has more emotion to it, right? The fear, the pain. And reading, I'm so sorry that happened to you, because reading gives you the tools for all that, right? Because it's word choice. It is seeing representation of people being brave. It's seeing representation of people who are like you. It is allowing yourself to escape.
Yeah. Imagine a different world.
Yeah. And most of those worlds are better, or end up better, right? Like,
or spark your creativity and your imagination of what it could be possible, right?
And I think that's, so many people have just accepted that this is how it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I think that's giving up. And I don't like a world where people just give up when it could be so much better. And it's so easy for us just to do the little things that help change the narrative and change the way people think about it. Whereas, a partly sunny day isn't about the clouds, it's about the sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah. And also for me, the other thing that really, resonates or hits a chord is that when you speak about it in that way, it makes me think about, for me, just my personal kind of philosophy in life is that nothing is possible until, well, I shouldn't even say that, but the things that you really want to bring to reality, you have to envision them. For me, like in my experience, I don't know about everybody else, but I know that in my experience, like, I've done so many things that I would have never imagined doing or even, thought about wanting to do, frankly, when I was young. But the more that I was able to specifically like envision the thing that I wanted to accomplish, like the more likely it was to happen and did happen in many cases. Right. And so I think just that shows the power of words and the power of framing and the power of mindset, really.
So true. It's like that Bruce Lee quote about don't speak badly about yourself because your body remembers, but I think it applies more broadly to what you can accomplish too.
Well, because you're really saying something about yourself, right? Like if you say like, oh, that's never going to happen. Like you just use the example of like, everything's terrible and nothing's ever going to get better type of thing, right? That mentality actually, you're really saying nothing good ever happens for me and nothing good is going to happen for me, because of course good things happen. Like, that would be a weird thing to say, that like nobody's getting anything that they want, right? Like that would be weird. But that's what you're really saying. You're saying for me, this is how the world is for me. And when you accept that mindset, you actually operate in the world differently and the world reacts to you. Like that's, and that's not really like, what do they call it? Like, fluffery or whatever. Like this is literally psychology. People refer to it as the self-fulfilling prophecy, but the science shows like that's a real thing, actually. Like that's
right,
why
there's that story of Marilyn Monroe walking with a New York Times reporter down Fifth Avenue, and she said to him, watch this, and she just kind of like slouched a little bit and changed her facial expressions and hunched her shoulders. Nobody recognized her, nobody paid attention. She stood up, she added a sway in her step, and everybody recognized her. And it's the ability to know that the energy that you're putting off, and whether it's because you think the world is, evil and there's nothing you can do about it and everybody's out to get you, you're in control, just like Marilyn was in control of how people reacted to her.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're putting out signals, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
putting out the frequency and people are picking it up. And it tells people, you know how people say like you teach people how to treat you. This is kind
Yep.
of like an energetic level version of that. It's like if you walk with confidence, then people are going to treat you as a, person who knows what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you use words that are dowdy and, you're really down on yourself. Like, I mean, some people, are saying, I'm sorry just for speaking. Or, they question
Yeah.
everything that comes from their mouth as like, well, I don't know if that's, good or not or whatever. And it's just like, honestly, you have a thought. Your thought is just as important as anyone else's. Your idea is just as important. Your thoughts are just as worthy as the next person. But if you have been taught that, like, you should keep yourself small or that, your ideas and thoughts are not as important as other people, like that translates, right? That translates from the words you use, the posture you use, like all of the signals that you send out in all of the ways that we communicate as people, because, you know, we communicate in a lot more ways than just our words, of course.
Absolutely. This brought up for me competing slogans between Nike and Adidas/Adidas, if you are in the United States. Nike slogan, just do it. We've seen it everywhere.
Just do
Adidas,
it.
right? So go America,
Just do
yay
it.
extreme kind of idea.
Yes.
Adidas, the German company, slogan is, you got this. Two totally different mindsets, right?
Absolutely.
One being the drudgery of you have to get through this and you just got to do it.
You have to grit your teeth. It just comes off as so like forced. You have to force it. You have to, through brute will.
Exactly.
That's what I was trying to think of, is the
And
brute
it's going to
will
be
of it all.
painful and it's going to be,
Yes.
it's going to do all the things that normal
But
humans don't want
you're
to
going
bring
to
into their life.
suffer and you're going to get the glory that is the imagery of
Oh,
Nike. Nike shows
yes.
the imagery of, the people with the hands in the air at the finish line. They won the race. They showed everybody this and that. And like, they showed them that they were the best, basically, right? And they are getting all the affirmation. And it's such a great example of like that puritanical value and mindset of like, if you suffer, you will be rewarded.
Mm-hmm. But think how much words matter where, say, that same athlete or any human gets the notion of, you got this. That is empowering. That is uplifting. That is, you are capable. You are strong. You are brave. And it's a totally different way to look at the world.
Yeah, and it's the idea too that like, I mean, what I'm getting from it, just hearing it, is like when I hear somebody say that, it's like I have people who support me and believe in me, and that makes me believe in myself even more, like it just feels like you're in community and you're not an individual responsible for the individual outcomes of your performance.
Right? And that's so powerful. I think
So
it's a
powerful.
perfect example of how words matter, whether it's how you talk to yourself, how you allow others to talk to you.
Yeah. I just was watching a random YouTube video where they were talking about like when people are disrespectful and how you react to that. And it really basically teaches people how to treat you, right? And one of the things they said is whenever somebody says something disrespectful to you, there are a bunch of ways that you could react. And one of the ways that we react is like, let's say somebody says something really rude, like you walk in and they start making fun of whatever, like whatever you're wearing or whatever you do or what have you. One way that people react sometimes is that they laugh it off. Why? Because it's awkward. They don't want to get into like an actual conflict with this person and like start a whole thing about it. They don't want to like seem like they're sensitive or, just like overreacting, which is a whole conditioning type of thing to begin with. But, they really want to just like make it go away. And so they think I'll just laugh along with them and then it's not a big deal. Right. But of course it still hurts. It's still painful,
Absolutely.
right? To feel disrespected, to feel slighted, to be insulted in front of other people publicly, especially is painful. And to not be heard or recognized as a human who deserves and is worthy of respect. Like that in itself is also another pain point, right? And so you can respond like that. Or you can respond on the other extreme where like you get angry and you confront and you make a big deal about like, that's not okay. And this is, this is, I mean, not even that this is not okay, but like you match aggression with aggression, right? Like it could be to that extent. Um, in this video, they recommended something in between, which I love. I even remember in developmental psychology, they used to talk about like, negligent parenting versus authoritarian and like the assertive parenting being kind of the best middle ground road. And this is the same thing where they said, you can, call out the disrespect without being aggressive. And you can literally and simply say, that was disrespectful, period. Not in an aggressive way, not in a confrontational way, just matter of fact, that was disrespectful. And you're letting them know that like you see what they're doing and it's not okay. And,
I love
they
that word
have
choice.
to sit with it. Yeah, I do too, because it puts it on them, right? It's like you said something and it was disrespectful and that's a fact. And now you can sit and think about what you said and whether or not that was the right choice.
When you first mentioned this example, I thought, okay, what would I say here?
Yeah, what would you say?
My instinct was to be, well, thank you, whatever that person's name is. I think it's important, or we should focus on the objective of this meeting or the whatever you're getting together, right?
Yeah. And see, even though that is like an incredibly professional way to respond, and even though you get to the substance of the matter, you're also saying thank you for being insulted. And that's wild in a way,
my
right?
inside is like, I have the tendency to use my manners offensively, that I'm going to use them in a way that, is she being sarcastic or caustic, or is she just well-mannered?
See, this is the hard part though, because you think that people actually understand nuance and
yes, or that they actually understand what manners are to begin with.
Exactly, and you're more optimistic on that point than I am.
But I love the example from the video of you are disrespectful. Or that is disrespectful.
And because it's also like, you're not even saying like you are a disrespectful person, which is more of a personal attack, right? You're like, or attack rather, you're saying that was disrespectful. The thing you said was disrespectful. Like you're not saying like, I hate you and I want you to die. You're just saying you said a thing and that thing that you said was disrespectful. And so I think it speaks volumes to the fact that like, no, we should not have to endure suffering in order to feel that we are worthy of good things, right? And in the workplace, this shows up in a lot of different ways where it's like, well, my boss is a terrible person who, is really abusive and puts me down. But if I just work harder,
they'll like me.
Then they'll like me and they'll see, and my work will speak. I was just talking about, did we talk about this in the last one where in my mind, I have the script of like, my work will speak for itself. And what I have really learned is like that well, first of all, that's just not true. That's just not true in my case anyways. That's not what people see. People truly respond to really, what you put out in your, in your presentation and of yourself and your body language and in every way that you communicate, and what you allow and what you will not allow. And really, it's just a projection of how much respect you have for yourself. I was journaling this morning and I was writing down some of my like big yearly goals and reflecting on my last year goals. And one of the things I wrote for like what I want to improve on is just like respecting and loving myself. And I think the more and more you're in touch with that, the more it becomes second nature, where it's like, if I love Tessa and, you've shown me this through our friendship, like your love for me gives me more love for myself, right? Like it makes me feel more confident when I'm in spaces with people who don't love me that way or see me that way. But I would never let anybody talk down to you in front of me. I would not allow that.
Same.
I would not allow it. And I've spoken up for especially women, you know, in my family and outside my family in many instances where somebody was disrespectful to them in front of me. And I would say, hey, that's not okay. You know, that's not all right. Like what you said was wrong. Like you should be apologizing and do not talk to her that way in front of me. Don't talk to her that way at all, you know, but if it were me and many times it has been me in many different situations, especially in workplace situations, I didn't speak up for myself in that way.
Yeah. Do you think that if we show the highest form of respect for ourselves, we then get the respect back from others because they realize it's like this impermeable barrier that we have built around ourselves because we respect and love ourselves so much. I love this idea.
I really, really do. I think that's where the work is because, you know, you have to believe it, right? And it's like the way that we speak is, again, it is a result of this puritanical, value-laden culture that says you are not worthy. And I mean, just to be 100% what it really is, like we were founded by these literal puritanical folks who believe that like we're all sinners and that we, you know, we're not worthy. Unless we actually literally suffer, repent, do all these things in order to earn our worthiness in the eyes of God. Like that's my loose interpretation of what puritanical values are. And I'm not an expert, but that's what I'm getting from it, right? That's what it's giving. And I see that translating in all of us in the way that like we show up to places saying, please give me this job and I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to show you that I can do it. And I'm going to prove to myself and to you and to everyone who doubted me that I can do it. And I'm going to get this affirmation in this other space and my work is going to speak for itself. And then I'll be worthy and then people will like me and then people will value me. Right. I've seen it in my own life. Like I can relate to that trajectory of seeing like, I want to prove something. But why didn't I just know that I was worthy from the beginning?
I wonder, could this be because the culture in the United States is one that responds to external motivations? And researchers have explained that, say, older countries, they respond to internal motivations. So they are internally motivated as opposed to the United States that responds culturally.
What's an example? External. Like what's an example of external versus an internal in this case?
In this case, I first read about it, I think it was a Cambridge or Oxford study of the 2016 election. And there, the behavioralist and psychologist noted that, and the economist, because I think there was a trio of them, noted that the reason Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton is because he created a situation that sounded loud and brash, and it had that extreme kind of professional wrestling glam on it. Whereas
professional wrestling, that's too accurate.
And they counterposed it to Hillary Clinton being more intellectual and explaining things and policy driven, which doesn't have the same pizzazz. Right? It's like watching pizzazz. And that it tends that leaders in other older countries tend to be elected based on how they can help people build their internal motivations, as opposed to the United States, which tries to build external motivation.
But in this example, internal motivation is like getting policies that actually benefit you and your family. Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah.
And external motivation in this example is like just being razzled and dazzled, getting entertainment value and possibly
or like claiming like
other people.
we are number one in whatever, but not considering the source that they're is no source.
Consider the source, honey. Consider the source. I feel like
Yeah.
consider the source has to be put on a shirt immediately.
It does, doesn't it? We should put on
Immediately.
like tote bags and t-shirts and bumper
On
stickers.
everything.
Consider
On
the
everything.
source.
Consider the source. Just think about it. Just think about it. Literally. Yeah, I 100% agree and understand what you're saying in that regard in terms of the fact that, people, really in this country are externally motivated, but I always wonder why that really is. And I've always thought about like the journey in terms of like age and emotional maturity even. It's like some people get to a place in the United States too, because like I've seen it, like I've seen older people who just they could give a fuck less, frankly. Like they're not trying to prove nothing to no one. They don't care what you think. They don't need to know what you think. It's none of their business, And
that is my dream aging process.
Dream. It is, well, right? It's my dream to get there as soon as possible. Like that is my little hashtag life goals. It's like get there as soon as possible.
But I would like to be unbothered, and I would like to be
blessed, unbothered, can't be bothered.
Increasingly open and joyful and loving the older I get. And it seems to me the older people that I encounter are none of those things.
Well, and first of all, I'm sorry.
I include my mom too, right? Like it's like life is weighing them down, and I don't want to be like confined by these things that were out of my control.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is the really interesting part that we get into is mindset versus material reality.
Like the definition of success in this country.
Yes, like, cause this really, I think is the most fascinating situation where it's like, okay, you can go to somebody, I think you were just telling me that maybe there was, somebody you're talking to is wildly successful, but also not necessarily very happy, right? And we see that all the time. We see that, with celebrities, we see people taking their own lives even who have all the money, all the materialism, they got all the fame even, which is like the ultimate affirmation. You're famous, everybody loves you, like, and it makes me think about the fact that, that materialism only goes so far. Right. Yeah. And, I think it was Russell Brand who said one day, I wish everybody would just get rich and famous real quick so that they could know that that's not it. That's not what they're seeking. Right. And that really resonated with me because I know so many people, from the neighborhood I came from or the neighborhoods, the communities, because I lived in a lot of places, so many people, they hold on to this idea that like, if I could just be rich and famous, then everything would be good. And it really points back to the internal struggle that's happening because if you're an older person who is living every day joyfully grateful for whatever it is that you have and you could care less what people think about you or, I love the eccentric people in the world. Ugh, they're my favorite. Like we went to like, Dali and like different people who are just like weirdos. They're my favorite. Like the creative weirdos. Come on. Like
nothing better.
Right? There's nothing better than like seeing somebody literally live in their full authentic selves and not only not giving a fuck what people think, but then getting like somehow through their magnetism and through their, incredible authenticity and vulnerability and creativity, getting people to fall in love with them actually, right? Like and becoming renowned, like it's just the best. And I think that really is it. That's the goal.
It's totally the goal. It seems to me that those people are not bothered by, life is suffering.
Honey. They cannot be bothered.
Life is not suffering. Life is not pain. Everything is not hard. Everything is not, you don't have to get destroyed to rebuild yourself.
No. And in fact, I feel like usually those eccentrics, they usually create their own beautiful world and they live in it, so it's like people can poo-poo the idea that like, mindset doesn't mean anything or what have you, but it's like, there are people that really did it. I mean, they kind of bent the universe around them to make the world that they wanted to live in a reality, and I don't believe that there's like, a brute force situation. Like, I don't believe in that, but I do believe that if you're tapped into who you really are and you're tapped into the power of your, creativity, I do believe that you can manifest things that you can manifest the life that you really want to live. And to put it in other words, if you have the mindset that the life that you want to live is possible, then it is. And if you have the mindset that the life that you want to live is not possible, then it's not.
Yeah. Oh, so powerful. Makes me think of so many people, at least in my profession, maybe in your area of expertise too, that say, well, this is how it's always been done.
Not that one.
Which is, yeah, do not like.
We should be able to pull a string and they fall in a trapdoor when they say that.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know where the trapdoor goes, but.
Some place where they can be, rebuilt.
Think about what you said.
Yeah, and they can learn new words that are meant to
educate them and to uplift them back out of the
trapdoor. Like, I truly believe that. I believe humans are good at their heart and that they want to do better things, and that somebody like squashed that out of them, and all they need is more love and attention, and to be told that anything is possible, and you can become Salvador Dali, or you could become, a gardener whose garden thrives, or you could just become a joyful person who likes to sketch on their walls, and their walls are just like this amazing array of different sketches through the day.
Yes. Or just take joy in any of the beautiful, opportunities that the world has to offer. I think that's what's most interesting about this world, is that like there's literally billions of people living their own individual lives. And it can be anything that you want it to be, actually. So why do you think that people feel like they have to suffer to get what it is that they, want out of life? Like, I feel like even though those values are there, like, how do we see it? How do we become aware? How do we overcome?
I find that a lot of people made those decisions for themselves based on somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not based on what they want or what they need. It was their parents or a mentor or a coworker or an aunt or an uncle or some friend, or they saw it on television or in a movie. Whereas I think the people, as you pointed out, who are truly authentically themselves and set their list of goals and what they want to do and achieve, those are the people who are unbothered by the puritanical views, the other views that try to keep us small and keep us, do I want to say oppressed? Yeah, I want to say oppressed. Right? Absolutely. Or easier to control when we're doing things that other people have done or want to do. But when we want to do what we want to do, it's harder to oppress us and harder to control us, because the other people who want to oppress and control us don't actually know what that is, because they've never seen it done before.
And we might not even know what it is because of the internalized oppression, right? Like,
Nor do we have to know what it is.
No, but also, like, how will you ever know what it is that you truly want? Or maybe the way to say it is the life that would actually, give you peace and joy and love, like what everyone deserves. Like, how do we know that? And I think the only way to get there is to actually know yourself. Like, there has to be an internal, moment of, or an internal journey, I guess, because at the end of the day, like everything that you're saying in terms of, it might be your parents or your aunt or your uncle or whoever that you're living for. If you're not living for yourself, you might be giving yourself the delusion that you are because, well, my dad wanted me to be a lawyer and I wanted to be a lawyer too, so it worked out. Right?
I can safely say that I was discouraged from becoming a lawyer by my family, so no. But it just made me wonder if this is a good journaling exercise, or even just like lifestyle exercise. If we decide that we need to see the joy and see what is good in our life and recognize it, even the small little things, right? Like, is that the key to it? Starting to see the joy on a daily basis, or see the good on a daily basis.
The reflection moment. And, I think that this is another really interesting thing about the conditioning that's happening right now. It's my belief that there's so much right now in our society that is encouraging us to disconnect from ourselves, right? Like, we're plugged in to all of these other spaces. We're watching other people's, curated, frankly, fake lives on social media. And, everything is, in my opinion, very illusionary. Everything seems, like an illusion. It's not
Yep.
real, but we take it as real. It's presented as real. It all started with reality TV, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember watching like the exposés that are like, oh my God, reality TV is not real. And I was like, oh, gasp. That can't be true,
What is the first reality television
The
that
Real
you
World.
remember?
The Real World MTV.
Same.
I was an
Mm-hmm.
MTV like maniac, like fan, like all the time MTV because I love music. So The Real World was it. And I mean, I don't even know how old I was. It was probably far too mature for me to be watching, but that was it. Like, The Real
Yeah.
World, literally has the word in it. And we take all of these messages, whether or not we're conscious of it, as these are people's real lives. I mean, even with our friends, like, we're following our friends on social media and, they're only going to post the good stuff. Like, I've, seen people who are posting 10 times a day and they look so happy and accomplished and all the things. And then I'm talking to them at night about how depressed they are. Like, it's just, that's the reality of the situation. And so I say all that to basically set the stage that we are, overwhelmed with all of this messaging that we're not good enough, basically. Because other people are accomplishing these things, and we're not,
Mm-hmm.
or they've hit some milestone and we didn't, or their family's perfect and mine's not, or whatever it is, right? A comparison is the thief of all joy. I think it was Theodore Roosevelt maybe who said that. And so
Yeah.
I think that's just so true. Like, I mean, the comparison is always the thief of joy because we, first of all, have no one to compete with, period. I used to say we have no one to compete with except for ourselves. But again, even that is like, why does there have to be a competition? Like, why?
Yeah. Why can't you just be?
Why can't you just be and be worthy of love? And the other thing that really stuck out to me when you were speaking earlier is that all of those things that people think that they want or believe that they want or even know that they don't want, but they're doing it for somebody else, even if they're conscious about that. The reason they're doing it, the underlying reason that they're doing it, I believe, is because they're trying to earn love.
Wow. It's like trying to earn rest or trying to earn
yes
dinner.
Yes. And you are already worthy. So that's why every time somebody tells me, I don't even know how people say it, but anytime somebody says something somewhat like derogatory about themselves or whatever, I always say, I love you so much and you are so worthy of love and you are so lovable. You're such a lovable person. Because
that's so important because it's so easy to like fall prey to like deprecating self-deprecating humor when somebody gives you a compliment. When
I do not allow it. Because anytime somebody says something straight out negative, somebody that I love that says something negative about themselves, I literally make them say 3 nice things about themselves. Like, I will be annoying.
I like, love this practice.
I need 2 more. Good. What else? Give me more, right? My sister already knows. Like, I'm like, I don't even have to say it anymore. And she'll just, okay, here's my 3 things. Like, The reason, the reason why we are seeking this affirmation that we are worthy of love, in my evaluation of the whole situation, is that one of a couple of different things. One, we were either denied love as young people, right? Like just didn't get enough. Or two, we were made to believe that love was conditional.
Oh, so many people, or transactional, which I think is
Or
unfortunately common
transactional.
nowadays.
Or transactional, exactly. And so that's why when you think about how it translates into the workplace, it translates so quickly and is supported by the puritanical values of you need to earn it. You have to earn it. You don't just deserve love. You don't come into this world worthy of love, which is insane to me. Like, how could you have, a beautiful baby and be like, no. Like you literally come in as a precious baby. And I could never imagine being like, no, I'm not going to give you the love that you deserve. But the truth is that it happens all the time. And it's not that people don't love, the precious baby, which is sometimes very true. But a lot of times it has more to do with the fact that, the people are not ready for the responsibility of a child, or the people are dealing with dysregulation, disorder, and disturbance, poverty, trauma, unresolved and untreated trauma and disorder. Like there's a million reasons why people do not, love babies and children and young people, in a way that helps them establish the core foundation that they are worthy of love, unconditional love, right? And I think that is what's happening, is that a lot of different people are literally just projecting out that need to feel like they're actually worthy of love, and they're either trying to earn it through being super productive. They're trying to, like you said, have transactional affirmation and love where they do for you because they want that back for them. They feel like that's the only way that they are deserving, right? Or you're the victim because, nobody loves you and you're never going to get what you need. And sometimes being the victim solicits pity from people, and that can feel like love, kind of. So at least attention, right? And so for me, psychologically, that's like the underlying mechanism is like we are truly all seeking that love. And if you take it back to the puritanical value situation, the Puritans, again, like the value, the messaging is that we're really not worthy of God's love unless we suffer. We repent. We recognize that we're bad, that we're sinners. Like that, it comes straight from there, in my opinion. And so that's where I say like awareness is the first step. Understanding that is underlying, our culture to begin with that was a big aha moment for me at some point in my life where I was like, oh, okay, like you're supposed to be feeling ashamed of sex. That's not just my family. That's like the whole situation. Okay. Like you're supposed to, hate your body, that's the whole thing. Like you're supposed to, suffer, you're supposed to, like all of the things, like there's so many things that tie back to this. But at the end of the day, like, I think because it's so pervasive in our culture, it's in us, but it's also in the people that raised us, and it's in the people that raised them and the people that raised them. And so it's just like all of the conditioning that we talk about, like they are unknowing, arbiters or vehicles of, conditioning, oppression, without meaning to even just, this is the water that we're swimming in, right?
I have to say this makes me so happy because uplift culture is the exact opposite, where we believe everyone is worthy of love.
100%.
Because I can't, like, what you've described just makes me feel like I'm suffocating. I'm not suffocating, literally, but it is that oppression of society, and it's too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about how isolating it is now too. Like, I know that people have felt isolated throughout the history of humankind, but I could be, this could just be my perspective where I'm sitting right now in the world, but it seems to me that people are even more isolated now because we don't have the physical interactions that we used to have, right? Like I was just talking to a friend yesterday about texting, and we've talked about this before, like texting versus phone calls, right? And it's like before texting was a thing, you would talk to a person. Like you'd either talk to them in person, which had all of the like, the gestures and like we were just talking about communication of body language and facial expression and all of the things. Or on the phone, at least you're getting like inflections, pauses, word choice, all of the things that tell you whether or not somebody, I don't know, has been thinking about this for a long time, or it's just, they're working it out in real time or whatever. Texting, much like social media, gives us the opportunity to edit ourselves, to curate, to present, as opposed to just being genuine and having a genuine exchange with each other, right?
As you say that, I'm thinking to myself, are some of these people who are just real bitter, is that their genuine selves? And should I be respecting it? I mean,
Maybe.
respect them as a human to make their own choices.
Sure.
But knowing that they deserve love and they deserve to live in a world where they are loved, have love, and can give love.
Well, I think that the people who are bitter, as you put it, it depends, right? Like what I have found is that there are people who act out in a lot of different ways because they have been denied the love and care that they deserve, right? And so my goal is always to see the humanity in other people, and to have empathy, but also, of course, to like safeguard myself and have empathy for myself too, right? And so whenever I see someone suffering in that way, the first thing I think is, oh, poor baby, who hurt you? Like, who made you this
So
way?
true. Yes.
That's my first thought. And most people don't, I won't say most people, I don't know, but I assume that not everyone thinks that way, right? Like I see people acting out against the acting out in ways that really, is perpetuating. So for example, some people act out with anger when actually they're hurt and they're sad and they feel alone, right? They act out in anger because they know they deserve better and it makes them indignant that they haven't received better. Some people act defeatist. Some people are victims. Some people, woe is me, right? And again, like that might be a way that they've gotten attention in the past or received love or pity or whatever it might be, but it got them something that they needed. And one of the things that my curandera and therapist has helped me understand is that we do whatever we have to do and whatever we've had to do to survive. And so we know that all humans need love, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, when you say someone's bitter, I'm curious what you're thinking of when you say that, because I think of all of these people who, are carrying a lot of negativity with them wherever they go. And I'm always thinking like, yeah, I respect them for who they are and what they've been through. And I want them to be unburdened of that bitterness. I want them to be able to see themselves as worthy of love and understand that like, no matter who hurt you, you're worthy of love now and you should have never been treated that way.
I love this mindset because I love the idea that humans are all worthy and deserving of love just by being themselves and existing. Not because they did something, not because they achieved something, not because of some transactional emotional exchange, but just themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And how lovely would it be just to hear that messaging, especially, as folks that have been, other marginalized, oppressed in lots of different ways, lots of different, examples, lots of different lived experiences, even amongst us. How affirming would it be for someone to just say, I love you, you're perfect the way you are. I only want the best for you at any age in your life. Like, I just think about someone telling me that right now, somebody telling me that when I was in my 20s, somebody telling me that when I was a teenager, somebody telling me that, when I was a little girl, when I, like just how can you not get enough of that? Like that, I think as cynical as, we might want to get at times based on what seems like, things that we can't control, we can still have impact. We can have impact in just that way. Like, just seeing somebody suffering and saying, I know you're suffering right now and I'm here for you, even if that just means I'm sitting next to you or I sit on the phone with you in silence or, just sending you a cute little note or a gift. Sometimes I'm like, can I send you, I asked my sister and friend who lives in Chicago, I say, what would bring you comfort and joy right now? One time she was like, I just really want popcorn and I don't have any popcorn. And I said, DoorDash is on its way. Like, you will have popcorn, and it's just things like that where it's like, it's just the little things, just feeling
It
not
is.
alone, just feeling like you're not alone in this crazy world. Like that has real impact no matter what's going on in the world. Like, you can make a difference in someone's life just by being there and the way that they need you.
And it's so key to make that choice, right? Like in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's contagious. That's the wonderful thing. Like, the kindness is
I,
contagious, right?
it's the best.
Yes, it's the best contagion. But you teach people how to treat you, but you also, are teaching, you're role modeling, basically. You're modeling like what the world could look like. And when we see so much negativity in the world and so much fakeness, like I was referring to earlier, right? Like, to see
Hmm.
genuine care and to see people modeling like warmth. I remember just when I first came to Texas and we went to the valley and I was like, whoa, people are really like friendly down here. Like,
Yeah, they are indeed.
and it's awesome because, especially up north, like, people are not necessarily like that. Like, people, think Midwesterners or whatever. I don't know what they think, honestly. Like, I think Midwesterners have a rep of being like in the middle, all right, whatever. But like, places like Chicago and just like bigger cities, especially where I usually lived. Yeah, people aren't warm like that. Like, people might, be like, they'd be cool with you or whatever, when you talk to them, but like, they're not stopping and making sure you're good or you need something to eat or like, they're just so, the people I've experienced in the valley especially have been like so warm and friendly to the point where I was like, wow, like, you can feel the difference. You notice that warmth. And I've gone as far as like, really observing them and being like, how do you do that almost? Which sounds crazy, but it's just true. Like, I had not been in that kind of culture, where I grew up, it was more like, you need to watch out for other people, like, be on guard, because you never know what someone's going to do type of thing. And in this culture, I was just really blown away for some reason of just like feeling that unconditional kindness. I think it's like a form of, it's just a form of unconditional love of somebody, especially to a stranger, just saying, hey, I see you and you're welcome to any of this, and I'm here for you type thing. Like, incredibly kind and warm, and I just wish we had so much more of that. And I think that we can have so much more of that if we just choose to do it.
And why wouldn't you? As you point out, when we are warm and kind and loving, it changes who we are, how we interact with the world, how we see ourselves, how we see other people, and then it ripples through everyone else too.
Mm. So true. It has so much impact. You have no idea how being good to somebody, being friendly, warm, or kind to someone today is going to impact their lives and the lives of everyone else that they touch in the day, and so on and so forth, right? So in an age where you can spread anything, spread kindness. And
Totally. And it's not challenging, right? Like you see a person
yeah.
and you say, oh, those are cute sneakers or what have you. Tell them that those sneakers are cute if that thought pops into your
Yes.
mind.
Oh, the compliments. We talked about this last time, and I can't remember. Oh, my friend, she did the cutest thing. She was like, I think she said in my type A personality ways, like I've created a Google form to check in on my friends and ask them about all their favorite things so that we can like have an even better friendship or something like that. And I was like,
Aww.
I love this. I'm like, I'm going to fill out this survey. It's fun. And one of the things that they said is like, what is something that just uplifts, or I don't think she's used the word uplift, but she's like, what's something that just like, puts a smile on your face or makes your day better or something like that. That was one of her questions that she put in there. And because we had just, I think, had that talk and you had talked about the power of compliments, I said compliments. And I think that's the first time I've ever asked for compliments, in my life. But I was like, yeah, that would make me happy. I love when people give me compliments and I'm in a good place to receive them, I think, finally, which, took some work, but it feels great and it's free and it's easy to do and it can literally like change somebody's day to have one compliment. Sometimes they've never had a compliment ever.
Correct. And we should also remember, compliment yourself each day.
Mm, absolutely. What are three things you love about yourself? Let yourself know.
Yeah.
Or like last time, I think we talked about like what we were proud of for ourselves or yeah, why we love ourselves. So I think that's so powerful and reminding each other to do it, all the time.
Let's do
Um,
it. Let's name one thing
yeah.
that we love about ourselves.
Mm, I'm gonna go with my endless optimism today. I feel like I have a well of, optimism that I can pull from even when, things are crazy and hard and wild. Like I have an ability to like find an example from history or from my family or my lived experience or just my inner source that gives me hope that things are going to get better, or that things are going to be okay, or that we have a lot to be grateful for, right now. And so I love that about myself. What do you love?
Well, same. I love my optimism. And I
Mm,
love that I have trained my brain to be optimistic about other people, even when they do something really crappy towards me. I try to
mm,
see it in the best light possible. And that has really changed how I react to situations, right? Like it's more about extracting information so that I can understand where they were coming from as opposed to the nasty thing they might have done.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
and that
changes
only
it.
fills my well of optimism up more.
Mm, I love the idea of filling the well back up too. That
We
works.
have to, right? Because I mean, we're
Yeah.
both optimists, but it doesn't mean that it's easy every single day to be an optimist. I'm not
Oh
saying it's
no.
hard, but you just have to make that conscious decision to
Hmm.
recognize that every incident has an optimistic way of viewing it.
Absolutely. And I do think it can be hard at times for sure. But we can do hard things. And
We can.
that's
We're brave. We're strong.
yes, and that's the whole idea is like no matter how challenging the times are, no matter what, obstacles we face, we can choose kindness, we can choose optimism, and we can lift each other through because frankly, that's the only way we'll probably get through. Like we rely on each other. We are social beings and we need each other. And when you're strong, I might be weak and vice versa. And that's why we have each other. So I just always think about that when I think about, doing my own kind of personal growth work, spiritual work. I always think about not just me and how it's going to impact me, but how it's going to impact the people that I love the most in the world and who I want to be there for to, just be there for them when they need me.
I am so glad we met. I love you
Me
so
too.
much. That was so
I love
wonderful.
you. I love you so much, Tessa. And I love this conversation. Thank you again for leading us through it. Do you have any final thoughts before we log off?
I hope everyone who is listening also says something that they love about themselves to themselves today, or just give yourself a compliment today. It's important, and I hope we all continue to do it every day, which I'm going to start doing it every day and including it in my journal. How about you?
Yes. I love that. I've been getting into journaling more and I love the idea of just making that a regular thing. Um, I know that gratitude is a big thing that people have, talked about saying things that you're grateful for before you go to sleep or when you wake up in the morning. But I think I'm gonna add that to my list too of just at least once a day. Like I gotta say something nice about myself once a day. I think it was the Buddha who
Yeah.
said, of all of the people in the world that deserve your love, you deserve it the most. And so I want to compliment all of the folks tuning in and building this community up with us. You are definitely a source of inspiration for me right now and a source of hope in humanity of people, really across the world who really care about one another and believe that we can do better as humanity. So I feel so connected and grateful for that. So thank you. You're incredible. And we hope that you stay uplifted. Until next time, take care. So I'm letting it run a little bit longer. I'm going to cut it there.
Oh, yeah. As I'm like, I'm going to be obedient and silent.
I wanted to give it a little like break so that way I could see it easily, like in the audio software. Like if the line goes flat, then it's easy for me to cut it right there.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but yeah, I'll just let it run for a little bit longer and then I'll pause it and upload it and everything. How did you feel about that one?
I felt really good. It went to such a lovely place I didn't expect it to go, and
Doesn't it
turned out
always
more
somehow?
uplifting than I anticipated, because it sounded to me at the beginning like, oh my God, is this just going to be Debbie Downer the way I framed this? But
Mm-hmm.
we made magic out of it. I'm so happy and so proud
We do it
of
every
us.
time. We are alchemists. It's incredible. The magic, which is
It
so
is.
beautiful. And I didn't even talk about the main thing I thought I was going to talk about, which is like, when we're facing tough times, or what feels like tough or challenging or suffering, challenging times or suffering in general. Like I wanted to talk about how like, I'm starting to see these things as like teachers and being grateful to them and all of those. Like I didn't even get to that. So we can do that another time too, because we still have
Oh,
some
I
more to
love
say.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that this should be enough time over the cut. So anything else that you want to talk about before you log off?
I sent you 2 episode name ideas by
Oh,
text
perfect.
during our silent period there,
Ahead of the
or my
game. I
silent
see
period.
that. I love the weird. I love that. That's
I
great.
think that's key though, right? Because it tracks with the otherness. It tracks with how this is a
Oh
rebellion,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it seems like everybody else is the world is a piece of shit. Everybody's going to treat each other like a piece of shit. And that's just how it is.
Yes. Yeah. Let's be weird. Let's do the opposite. So Austin of us.
It is, isn't it?
I don't know if anybody, I think I've seen one person use this word before, but like I thought I had coined it in my head a long time ago of queerdos, because I'm like, queer always meant like weird anyways. Right? And then it's like the
Love
weirdo.
it.
And I'm like,
Yeah, that's a great
I'm a proud
turn of
queerdo of
phrase.
mine. Yeah. All right. Well, I love you so much, Tessa. Thank you
I
for
love you
making the time
too.
today. I'm so glad we got to get another one in.
Me too. Yay, us.
Yes, we're doing it. And can you believe our stats? Come on. That is wild, right?
It blows my mind that there are like more people that could fit into my house that are out there
Mm,
listening.
that is wild. And I feel so grateful for that. Like, I feel like it's just the moment. Like it's happening at the perfect time, right when it's supposed to happen. And I think this is our opportunity to really, I don't want to use the word capitalize, but like, do the most with it, like make the most, have the most impact with it. Do we have any planning sessions coming up? Do we have one this week?
Let's see. Yeah, we have one on Friday. Yeah,
Perfect.
Friday at my place. Yeah.
All right. Well, I look
I think
forward
it's
to
at
it.
11.
Okay, I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to
Me
that.
too.
All
I
right,
picked up
Tessa.
some Italian and French frozen like pizzas, so we would have lunch.
Ooh, fun. Issa's gonna love that.
Yay! I was like, what do kids eat?